So today we have a short session with Ibu Lisa. Ibu Lisa is a friend of Ibu Lauren, and she is the founder of Peer Exchange application. So this application is a digital peer review tool with a patent method that ensure fairness, and enhance learning among students. So this application is also partner with Harvard Business Publishing Education. So today, Ibu Lisa is going to share us about how to start using this application in our teaching learning activities. So to my understanding, this application is going to be embedded or integrated in our Canvas learning management system. And then hopefully we can get free access to utilize this tool, at least for 1 year period. Am I right, Ibu?
Absolutely. That was a great introduction. You're exactly right. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's all the opening from me as the head of Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning. I hope all of us can enjoy the session and learning something new from Ibu Lisa. So I think that's all from me. Ibu Lisa, I would like to invite you to start the session.
All
The
right.
time is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. I see familiar faces. I'm so
Hello,
happy to see you
Lisa.
again. And listen, hello. Good to see you, Julia. So I would love to just meet each of you and ask you how you might use peer review. But I also realize it's 8 in the morning. You have a work day ahead of you. So I want to get through what I'd like you to know, and then I'd love to open it for questions of anything that's on your mind. So yeah, so the reason this idea exists is that I taught at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania for a long time, which is how I met Lauren. And I was teaching public speaking and using a lot of peer learning. And then I was told to teach writing, and I wanted to teach it online, and there was nothing available that could have peer learning work. So I did not set out to be an entrepreneur. I'm really a teacher, but I wanted to invent something to work from my class. And we used it for 10 years at Wharton. We had no grade complaints. So that's why I'm here, is to talk to you about this. So listen, please tell me if I'm going too quickly, or please just speak up. And if I'm not explaining things well, please interrupt. Okay, so of course I have slides, right? Because I wouldn't be able to talk without slides. Here we go. Okay, do you see three happy looking students? I'll put it in slideshow mode.
Yes, Bu, we
Okay.
can see your slide.
Great. Okay, so yes, three happy looking students. All right. All right, so this is what we do. As the tagline says, it saves time, customizes learning, and engages students. And those are the three promises, and I'll come back to how we do that. Okay, so this is what we do. This will be our outline of what we do. What is it? How does it solve problems? It's easy to set up. I did not want to have to learn another learning management system. I just wanted an easy to set up tool, and that's what it is. And how we use ChatGPT, which I hope you'll be as excited about as I am. But then, of course, there's the dark side of ChatGPT or any generative AI, and we'll talk about addressing those issues too. Okay, so this is what we are. Of course, it's mobile friendly. Everything's available for you and for your students on their phones. Active learning, any teaching goals. And I noticed, and Surya, I know you're from engineering, everything would be from a poetry course to an engineering course. It doesn't matter the discipline. So any study program. And then, of course, asynchronous, synchronous, virtual in class or hybrid, it doesn't matter. And we've had a lot of use from students around the world and faculty around the world. Okay, so what this means is mobile means it's flexible. active learning, either during class or outside. This supports your goals. This is not meant to be a replacement. This really enhances whatever goals you have. And as I mentioned, any study program, we even have engineering in there. And you can decide whether you want what we call peer learning, which is all text-based feedback, or peer review, which we call adding scores. So scores and text-based is how we define peer review. As a default, students do not see the scores from classmates, but you always make that available. Oh, I realize I won't know if anybody has a problem or a question. Desi, I'm not checking chat. Do you mind if I impose on you to interrupt me if anyone has a question I should be
Sure,
looking at?
sure, sure. Yeah, so
Okay,
far
thank
there
you
is
so
no
much.
question in our
Right.
chat room.
Okay, thanks, Desi. I'm sorry to impose on you. It's just
Yeah,
that I might want to ignore anyone. Okay, great.
yeah.
So this is what we do. This peer review tool, as Desi said, that you customize. Okay. Now, what is different is this patented technology and the fact that, as I say here, no one can be disadvantaged or advantaged by the scores they assign others. And I'll explain that in a minute because that is what makes it distinctive. Okay, so is the overview. If you can think about what we are, it's simple one-way text setup. There's the moving sidewalk, only goes one way. It's very straightforward. You can't get off or deviate. But in terms of what you can customize, that's endless. You can customize it in any way you want. And this lists all the different ways that faculty use it. It's interesting. None of these are how we used it at Wharton. We used it for a writing competition. But these were the most popular ways that people are using it now. So I won't read these, but you'll have all these slides. And there's also links to very simple videos you can give your students. They're less than 3 minutes total, so they can get a quick picture of what this is about. And you'll have these slides, of course. Okay, and we also have a set it and forget it option. This is from a rotisserie advertisement over 25 years ago. And we really love this, that you literally can set this thing and then forget it and not look at it again. That's the automated option. Okay, so just very quickly, my background, I worked at the IMF in statistics, so I'm very, I guess, very enamored of data and what it can do for us, also as teachers. Then I went to Harvard Business School where we had the case method and students taught each other. And so I really believe in the power of students teaching each other. And then at Wharton is where I developed it. And we licensed the technology from the University of Pennsylvania because I got the patent when I was working there. Okay, so you would wonder, there's been a lot of research on the power of peer learning and why it's good, but very few of us ever use it. I mean, I never used it. And these are the main reasons, is that we worry, is it fair? Some students are going to be really tough graders, some are going to be really easy graders. It wouldn't be fair if you only got tough graders. So that's the biggest objection. Getting grade complaints is another objection. And the other big one is anonymous peer feedback. Will that lead to just bad comments or the dreaded good job comment or just students who give poor comments? Those are really, I think, our main fears of why we don't use peer review. And I'd love to ask you about your other thoughts, but I guess I better keep going. Okay, but I will come back and ask you if we have time as to why do people hate peer review? So this is what we did to overcome that. It's fair, yes, we promise it's fair. That's the motivation for the patent. Those who use peer scores are able to tell their students why it's fair, which is why there are no grade complaints. And then the anonymous feedback is that you can choose to have your students be evaluated on the helpfulness and effectiveness of their feedback. So you can hold students accountable for the quality of their feedback. And look, I'm a communication teacher, as some of you are as well, and giving good feedback is hard. And most of us don't have time in our courses to cover that. So we teach it as a skill. We teach giving good feedback, we model it, students practice, they see how they did, and they practice again. So it's real skills-based teaching for the feedback part. If you're not interested in that, it's very easy to skip that stage. Okay, it integrates with Kansas, as Desi said. We assume that students don't read very carefully, so we give them lots of pop-ups and guidance. We guide them through every step. It enhances engagement because, as you know, as teachers, when we coach others, when we teach, it helps our own learning. And that's such an important one for students. And they'll say, you know, people told me this was a problem in my writing and I ignored it, but now I see it in others' writing and I can see why it's really annoying. But it really hits home when you see it in others' work, often stepping outside your own. And then there's privacy. The default is anonymity, I guess, double blind. That's our default. No one sees the submission, no one sees the feedback. You can change that if you like. And then there's lots of metrics as well. Okay, so on the instructor view, this is guided for you as well. We have lots of help text. We know you're busy, we make it simple. You can integrate it with your rubrics if you like. And there's data at every step to measure progress. And again, there's lots of reports. Okay, so as I mentioned on the first slide, we make 3 promises: saves time, engages students, and customized learning. So the way it saves time is that other people are helping you with the job of giving feedback. They're also helping you with evaluation if you choose ChatGPT. Engaged learning, that's pretty obvious. Students help each other. You'll get the more reticent students and you'll hear from them while you might not have heard from them in class. And I'm going to stop at the end of this slide to ask you if you have any questions before I keep going. Customized learning. Yes, you as instructors customize whatever discipline you want. Then on the second row, there's the avoiding grade complaints because of the patent, the hands-on practice of giving feedback. We really offer what some people call personalized feedback at scale. Because it's web-based, we can support thousands of people at the same time. And lastly, it's how we used it at Wharton, which is to gamify learning, because people like a competition. And not only can you figure out who is the best at something, if you have, say, a case competition or an entrepreneur pitch competition, it's often hard to find out the finalists, and teachers sometimes get accused of favoritism. So this way, peers can determine who the finalists are for any competition. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there and come back to you. All right, and stop sharing and ask. So hello, lots of names and some pictures. So do you have any, and Zulia, by the way, is going to see in a minute her contribution to this, but I haven't gotten to that slide yet. Okay, any questions so far? Anything I can answer? Anything that wasn't clear? Julia, that's thumbs up. Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Pak Surya is going to ask you, Ibu Lisa. Pak
Yes.
Surya, yeah.
Yeah, well, it sounds very interesting, Lisa, but do you have an example where you show how it works, really?
Absolutely. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I just wanted to give an overview. I'll definitely have an example. Yeah.
All right, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I think I should keep going then. All right, and I will. And when you say example, sorry, I assume you mean you want to see how it actually looks when you're on the learning tool, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, among other things, how will it impact the like you said, the conduct of the class itself?
Perfect. How will it impact the conducting of the class? Okay, great.
Mhm.
Perfect. So it supports assignments, as you will see. Okay. All right, so this is how it works. 3 stages. And remember, students are just given this and assigned by our algorithm. So no picking of friends. They receive the work and they're told what to do. And you decide how much work each person gets. So they submit content for review by classmates. That can be text, it can be Excel, it can be a video, it can be a podcast, it can be anything. The next stage is they offer feedback. And then the third stage is optional. As I mentioned that before, you can have it be quality of feedback. How good was the feedback? Or people are using it now these days to tweak their assignments to help address the issue of people using ChatGPT or other generative AI program or tools and not giving it proper attribution. So look, there's nothing one can do to really conquer that or avoid it or even detect it. But this stage helps people keep their assignments the way they are and tweak them for this new era of people using generative AI. Okay, and this is the view. So the drone's eye look at this thing. A student submits work, students offer feedback, and then people usually score the quality of the feedback, or they use it for the other use that I just mentioned. And the class size can be anything. Okay, and here's a very common example. I know several of you are writing teachers, is that friends of mine who have used this have stopped reading drafts because the students write the draft, they get feedback from peers and from ChatGPT if they like, and they lead to a better final paper. Okay, so here are some examples of what a student sees, but I will actually get on the learning tool. But I just want to give you an example of how it looks to them. So if a student writes any type of submission, they get feedback from their peers. This example does not use ChatGPT yet. Okay. Then this is a really distinctive feature, what we call the comparison report, which is, let's say I gave feedback to Zulia's paper and Desi gave feedback to Zulia's paper. Now we're going to see how each other gave feedback to the same paper. And where that's distinctive is it's very unusual to get to see how other people gave feedback. And it gives a student a chance to see that maybe my feedback wasn't as good as others, or maybe it was better. We don't know who those people are. But what students realize is that they see things in other people's critique that they never even noticed. So it's an awakening of really the many multi-dimensions of giving feedback and how do you compare to others. Okay, all right, so now introducing ChatGPT. So I want to talk about this a little bit before we get on the learning tool and see how it works. Okay, so this is a quote from Hans Struckenschmidt, who a long time ago in 1926 talked about recording of music, which at that time was shocked the world. And what he said was, the machine is neither a god nor a devil. And I think that's a fair assessment of ChatGPT. So we're going to look at its advantages and its misuse as well. Okay, so I'd like to think that it has lots of wonderful advantages, and it really does. So we build it into our platform as an option. It uses an API. So what that means is it protects your student data. We never would have done this if we couldn't protect student data. So it is not that data that you put in, or that if you choose that option that gets put in, is not used for training the AI. So that's a really important distinction. If you use ChatGPT at home on your web browser, the data you put in there is used to train the AI. For this on Exchange, it is not, because of the structure that we use. Okay, you don't have to worry about prompt engineering. We spent all last year doing that for you, and you get to choose among 3 options. So the first option is what we had when I met you in September. So a student puts in work, ChatGPT acts as a peer giving feedback. Right here, this is the little robot. And then stage 3 goes on as it did before. ChatGPT does not submit work. We knew that it would change so dramatically and quickly. There didn't seem to be much point in having students learn to evaluate what ChatGPT does, because that will only advance. But it does give amazing feedback, and that's how we use it. And then I met Zulia, and she said, well, she said it a lot more nicely than this, but I remember her point, which was, this is really great, but what do we get out of it? And she said it more nicely than that. She was much more diplomatic. But my view is, yeah, maybe we should be thinking about the fact that, what do teachers get out of this? So they get to see great feedback that ChatGPT gave to their students. But inspired by Zulia, I added 2 new features, 2 new options. And we call these auxiliary, not the most descriptive word. So you can help me with a better word if you like, if that'd be great. But the idea was, for every student, you can choose to get feedback on 2 dimensions, both critical thinking and writing. And you can choose to release those to students, or you can choose to keep it for yourself and use it for your evaluation. So Zulia, I can't even see your expression, but I hope you're pleased with what we did. We did a lot of testing. It was not as easy as I'd hoped, but it's there now. And these features are available to you, and I'll show you how to choose them. So there's really 3 features. Pick the questions that you assign to students and let ChatGPT be a student, or have ChatGPT give you extra feedback on critical thinking and writing. And I think what's great about it, especially your writing teachers, it really is a good assistant. It gives a foundation. It has a beginning for you to evaluate if you want to use it. Okay, great. And these are the types of reports you will get. And I'll show you these. And the last 2 are the ones that I just talked about. Okay, so I'm going to take, this is just an overview before I take you onto the learning tool, but this is what students see. So for instance, I showed you this before without ChatGPT, and you can see that ChatGPT has a lot of energy. It gives a lot of feedback compared to our students, but it doesn't mean that being concise is bad, but ChatGPT does generate a lot of good insights. So here's an example where there was a submission. ChatGPT's feedback is always in red. As you could see, blue was a classmate's feedback, white is a student's feedback, and it would go on and on, or on for as many people as you had to evaluate. And this is just blown up. I'm sending you these slides so you can see how it evaluated. Great. And this is just the other one a bit larger to see the different types of feedback. Okay, here's OpenAI's data privacy, because I know that's so important in terms of protecting our students' data. And we're almost finished. Yes. Oh, right. Let me come back to this. This is this issue of students who use ChatGPT but do not without attribution. But let me come back to this at the end, because I want to make sure to get you on the learning tool. Great. And here are these very quick videos that you can show students. You might want to watch them as well. You'll really get a sense of what this whole thing is about in less than 3 minutes. Okay, so let me take you right on the learning tool. I'm going to begin by taking you on. You're not going to be getting us through Harvard Business Publishing, but we do, let's see. We do have a demo there, which makes it easier to see. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Surya, here we go. And for everybody, this is what I'm going to begin with what the student sees. And I'll take you to the learning tool live, but I have to be really careful of obviously students' names. So so this is what you can see without my giving away student names. Okay, so can you see here a simple, flexible way? Okay, great. So this is the big picture of how this thing works. This is what you do as instructors. You get your assignment, you decide logistics, and you add evaluation questions. And we give you guidance for that and give you examples. Students submit their assignment, complete the questions, and get their feedback from peers. Okay, so this is what a student sees. What I explain here is that this is what a student sees. There's 3 stages. The last one is optional. And that student work is anonymous unless you decide otherwise. Okay, so this is also all in the video. This is what I would get. My name welcomes me. It tells me what's going on. This is an example of so what's going on is everything you read in white is what you, the instructor, wrote. But most of it is default text because most people use it pretty much the same way. So we have lots of default text that all you have to do is edit. You will not have Harvard Business Publishing as your go-to. Yours will be different. But basically, all you have to do is edit this or keep it if you like. So this is what it looks like for a student. They click on their to-dos. This is your assignment. And everyone told me, you should really put some assignments in, but people teach everything. I mean, there's no way I can put an assignment in. So you would choose the assignment that you want to use for peer review. And I can offer you guidance, which we do offer on the platform, is to the type of assignment. I used to think only specialized assignments work. What I've learned is faculty use any assignment they can dream up. But I would say, are you sure you want to use peer review for that? And they're, yep. So I've never seen an assignment that did not work, which I know sounds very odd. So I guess if it were a really simple math problem, you wouldn't use peer review for it. But other than that, it can really do whatever you think classmates can learn from each other. So this is how this works. This is where the student puts their submission. Okay, and that's the first stage. That's what a student does on the first stage. Okay. And I'm going to stop sharing a second, and I better not, or else I may never get back here. All right, I'm going to go through these next stages relatively quickly because I don't want to get lost. Okay, here's reviews. Student goes in. Remember, I mentioned set it and forget it. You, the instructor, decides the times. Stages close and open according to the times that you set. So you did that in advance when you set it up, just like you do in your LMS. Here we go, the same page as before. You decided, you meaning whoever did this, that you thought 3 people should give feedback. Okay, we're very big on pop-ups in case students really aren't paying attention. These go away after the first time, but we just want to make sure that they're aware of what's going on. Okay, so this was a case analysis of this Carlsbad home care. You, the student, received it. You read it. That's the analysis. And then your teacher decided you would evaluate the case analysis on these dimensions. So this is what you, teacher, would have put in when you set this up. And people tend to use similar questions over and over, but they also like to make it interesting and make it according to their whatever their learning goals are. So that's what these questions are for, is they support the learning goals of the instructor. And then this last stage that's optional is feedback on feedback, which is how are the quality of the reviews? The reviews is the term we use for feedback. And the default here, and everyone typically uses the same ones, but they can easily change it. This is optional. Again, we have the pop-ups telling the student what's going on. So this is what they're assigned. They can find the original case analysis. They see the review that someone else gave with these scores. They then evaluate the review on these default dimensions that you can easily change. So just to go through this again, because I do end up getting too in the weeds here. This is feedback on feedback. This is to help hold students accountable for the quality of their feedback. This is optional. Your student, your teacher has chosen this stage. You're assigned this. You see a feedback, you see a review. You're then asked, how good was this review? Were the scores consistent with the writing? Did it point out what was good? We often forget that in feedback. It's important to say what's good. Did you point out areas for improvement? And you might be wondering, well, how can you evaluate feedback if you haven't seen the original submission? That's right up here. So students can always find the original submission. We limit that to save them time because we want to make sure they don't spend too much time on peer review. And the last one, then I'll stop sharing for questions, is they find feedback from peers. This is what I showed before. This is the feedback they got from their peers. Here's their submission if they forgot. And here's that comparison report I mentioned, which is, here was the submission I read, the blue. Here was my own feedback in white. And here are my classmates' feedback in blue. And as you know, when ChatGPT is there, that appears in red. So this is the comparison report where I get to see how my feedback compared to my classmates on the same work without knowing who anybody was, of course. Okay, so that's just what the student experiences. And so now that I'm back to you, any questions on that? I know I went through it quickly, but that's what a student experiences. I'll put my glasses on to see if I can see any questions. Surya, was that clear for the student?
Sorry, Lisa, did you call my name? I just lost
Yes,
you.
It's okay, I cold called you. So was that clear for what in a student experiences, even though I went so fast?
Yeah, as you were talking and showing us the example, what went through my mind was how I'm going to apply this to an engineering class.
Okay,
I can see how
good.
this applies to like composition or history class or arts and humanities and things like that. And then I came to realize that some of the things that we do in engineering might find it useful to use this kind of analysis or reviews. But obviously, if you're talking about math problems, it's either right or wrong answers and things like that. This might not be applicable that much. But on the other hand, as you are trying to explain how you come to the derivations of something, maybe the reasonings, how you come about, can be analyzed by means of this peer review process.
I missed the last thing that you said. Would you mind saying that again?
I said that if you have to analyze an engineering problem, for example, if you are asking the students to write descriptive of design of an equipment, perhaps you can use this to evaluate how thorough is the design process in an engineering design class. For example, now it just goes through my mind when you were talking about this too.
Well, thank you. So the people who have used it the most are the quantitative faculty, typically in data analytics and finance. So they have people run R, the software R, and they get outputs, and they have them talk about the process they went through, the assumptions they made. And they basically issue, yours was a design example, but theirs is really a process of you did these elevated technical analysis. What was your thinking? And what was your output, and explain it. So yeah, the most people have used it have been quant teachers. And ironically, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, ironically, they've used it for a midterm and a final exam. One of them had a class of 500 students, and he hired 5 TAs, teaching assistants, and they reviewed everything. And he used the peer-reviewed scores for their final exam grade. When he had the TAs graded the exact same thing, he did not change one grade. So that was surprising.
Right.
It was good, and he was happy, and we were all happy. But yeah, people have used it for all different ways that I wouldn't have expected.
So do the 5 TAs actually keep their jobs for the next semester afterwards?
Well, sir, they promise they keep their jobs because somebody has to teach. But I must admit, other people have said, oh no, are the TAs going to lose their jobs? Well, I don't know, maybe TAs can help with research or do other things, but not everybody can afford a TA, a teaching assistant. So yes, faculty's jobs are safe in my mind, right?
Well, that's the risk that we have to take in this new generative AI world as we are living in today.
Right. So let's hop on to that. Okay. So I'm going to move. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any other points, Surya?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wish I were an engineer and I could rattle off better examples quickly, but I can just tell you anything where there's 2 people who could have a different perspective, or as you say, evaluate something, this peer review would hopefully work. And I'd be happy to help you set up your assignment.
Thank you.
Even though I don't know anything about engineering, I'd be happy to help you. If you can tell me the goals, I could look at your questions and see whether or not we can tweak them or whether we need to tweak them.
Yeah, I will reach out to you, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so now back to this. And yes, now I want to take you onto the faculty site and then talk about students who use ChatGPT without giving it credit, and then I want to leave time for questions. Okay, so let me just show. So this is actually directly on the platform, not on the demo. So, yes, here we go. All right. Can you see, can you see this? Am I on summary? And then you see the word reports in orange? Am I
Yeah.
sharing that? I am?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay. So when you generated your questions and everything, I just want to make sure that you see what reports looks like. I may have had this frozen too long. Oh, here we go. Great. Okay. Okay, so when you go in, this is what you see on the platform. We try to keep it really simple. Things in blue are messages for you. Things in white are what the students will see. So I made this assignment for all of you, which is important. I think I had this hanging around too long without using it. Okay. Let me just take you this way. Okay. Okay, so this is what it's like for you, teacher. And we try to be as clear as we can. We say step one, add the title, students this title. So you do that. The next thing you do is you look at this page below and see if you want to change anything. And then you have to hit save and continue. It's very rote, but it's the only way we're able to make it simple. And it is a simple setup. Okay, so then you have to hit over here. And here's your assignment. You will just put your assignment in. Okay. Here's the logistics, which we don't have in this demo, but this is, and I'll come back to this. This is how you set it up. Here's the review rubric for you to see, which is the way you add questions is you simply add a plus sign. You get a choice of questions. You write them in and you save it. So it's very easy to add questions, erase questions, reorder questions, whatever you want. And then the last one is the stage 3. If you use it, these are the default questions that are already here. So if you like, you can just hit save. Okay. And then what I do, I want to take you on. Let me just stop sharing a second. And let's see. Oh, sorry, this, okay. I just want to see how easy, show you how easy it is to do the ChatGPT setup. Okay. This is what I had set up for you before. Here's Samporna. Okay, great. Okay, great. Okay, so here we are. This is a Samporna test that I lost from having it sit too long. So can you see this Samporna University? Okay, great. All right. So this is what you do as a faculty member. You just hit create and edit. You go through these tabs that I showed you. Okay, great. So this is the setup page. It's in military time, which drives the Americans crazy, but I just believe that it should be in 24-hour time and not AM, PM, but they don't like it, but we're not changing it. So these are the deadlines that you get, just like on your LMS. Here's where you can do the set it and forget it stages. You can do email automatically. You can do progression of stages automatically. This is how you automate everything. And this is where you can skip or keep the third stage. And here's our ChatGPT features. Okay, and I put the instructions right here because I want faculty to remember that everything you see, you can look at first before you release it. So this is where you get the different choices of how to use ChatGPT, and all you have to do is click it. And you click that, and that's it. So it is literally a matter for you of just clicking. And then it goes on to the other ones that you saw, which were add your evaluation questions. And then the last one, the optional one, is the default questions, which evaluates feedback on feedback. And for everything here, you are walked through with help text, explaining what to do. Before you publish, there's reminders. Did you remember to do this? Was this thing, make sure this is consistent. There's lots of reminders before you publish because people get to that stage, even though it's pretty quick, and they forget. So we have lots of reminders along the way. And then once you set it up, you are done until the next assignment you want to put in. You can literally set it and forget it, as they say about that rotisserie. Okay, so we have 12 minutes. I mean, I can talk as long as you like, but you have a whole day of work ahead of you. What can I answer for you? And then we can talk about, if you're interested, addressing the fact that some students do use ChatGPT without attribution. So anyone have any questions? Just looking around? If it wasn't clear, because I
Yes,
went
Bu Jela.
fast. Oh, good.
Bu Jela.
Yes. Hi, Lisa.
How
I'm
you doing?
actually looking at my canvas, and you said that we are going to be able to try it out, and I'm really, really looking forward to try it out this semester because
Right.
I do have a public speaking class. But there's
It's not there.
it's not there yet. So it's
Right.
like
Well,
still a frown little
it's
button.
fine. Well, Echo really tried, and that's a failure on our end. We had Canvas integration all set up. It was working beautifully. We integrated with Harvard Business Publishing, and we were struggling with the Canvas integration. So our developers spent a lot of hours on it yesterday. Echo was amazing. We had a video call. We were so close. And then something went wrong. And our developer has had so many decades of experience with Canvas that he's really frustrated. We will figure it out. But I'm really sorry, Julia. The plan was to have it ready for tonight. When it's there, by the way, it will just be, it will appear, and you'll be able to just click on it, and you'll be right in Peer Exchange.
Yeah,
And the
because
great, yeah,
because I'm looking at one of my assignments here actually, and it's right under the rubric. So so I guess my imagination's that once it is integrated, it's really, really going to be simple for us because it's right there and we can choose to use it or leave it. But hopefully it
it
will
will get
happen.
done, Julia. It was supposed to be done by tonight. I'm so disappointed because I wanted to take you right on Canvas and do it from there. Our developer was so upset. He said, look, you want me to create a fake course? And I thought, no, let's just wait till we have the real thing fixed, because I don't want to look different and waste your time. It shouldn't look different, but yes, we will get to that. I'm sorry. That's
All right. Yeah, because I'm hoping that when we have the sessions that we actually can try it on hands to one of our at least one of our course.
Yeah, and listen, if I can meet with you again, let me know. I'm here to help you, both on the campus, which hasn't gone so well so far, but also with your questions or anything I can do to help. What I thought I would do is record it once it's fixed and send an Echo recording of what it looks like so he can distribute it to all of you. I mean, literally, you should just click on it. That's how all the others have always worked, but just in case.
All right,
So,
awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
great. And I'm happy, and please reach out again if I can. Any other thoughts?
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
I'm wondering about using it for like pair work, and then groups can give feedback, right? If we assign it, is it possible to do it in groups?
Yes, we have team assignments. Thanks, Julie. I should have mentioned that. We have team assignments. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And when you go in and you just create a new assignment, there says individual or team. So you'll see it right there. We added that just before I met you in September.
Sounds awesome. Thank you.
So I guess in my few minutes remaining, I don't even know how but is this issue of students not using ChatGPT and not giving it proper attribution, is that an issue for you? It's a huge issue in the States and people I've talked to in Europe. So I want to, before we talk about it, I want to make sure it's relevant. Is that yes that it is? Yeah, okay. So just to okay, so in case you don't know, ChatGPT cannot be detected by even though people spent the whole year trying. So faculty have said to me, I love it because when I tell my students that we're using it with ChatGPT, they look around and I know they're thinking, oh, ChatGPT will tell me, the teacher, if you're using ChatGPT. Well, that would be lovely, but it doesn't. So that would be a nice thing. It doesn't do that. So what we suggest is that stage 3, which is typically feedback on feedback, some people use it differently. And so ChatGPT has access to everything in the world online. It doesn't have access to what you said in class. It doesn't have access to what's in peer exchange. So if you can make that last stage so relevant to your course, plus the feedback, it will be, and I can give you an example of what we use. That assignment would be so much work to put into ChatGPT that it really would be much, much easier to just do the work. Now, one could argue people who cheat don't think that way, but what we realize is we have this gold mine of course-specific, peer-specific content that ChatGPT cannot get. So it is a way for you to structure the end to be so much effort. We're hoping we find that students we don't really know for sure. They could spend a long time trying to input everything, but it is a lot more straightforward to just do the work themselves. And I can explain that to you more in detail later if you like. I just realized that my time is running short. So any questions on anything?
Yeah, Lisa, you do have to excuse me. I have another meeting at 9 o'clock. So
Yeah,
I need to leave the meeting right now. Thank
yeah,
you.
great to
Appreciate it.
see you.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you should I need further assistance.
Wonderful. I
Appreciate it.
really mean that. I'm happy to help. Great. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining. Thanks.
Thank you.
I know you all have a whole day ahead of you, but I mean, I can stay on here as long as you like. It's only 9 o'clock at night for me, but I really mean that. Anything I can talk to you about? I thought Surya's question was really interesting about engineering. As I said, I was surprised. I'm a communication teacher, like my friends from September, but the quant people have really used this a lot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to using it this semester and see how things go. And we're looking for integration. Thank you so much for kind of, refreshing everything. We haven't used it, so I'm sure
Right.
we'll have lots of questions about it once we actually, see it. And I'm sure we'll have
Right.
lots of questions then. But thank you so much for
So
your time.
Ditto with Miss Z.
I'm happy to answer your questions because I really mean it. I learn a lot from people's questions. So, and thank you again for your comment in September, which really inspired me. So,
I can't remember it, but yeah.
oh, I do remember it vividly. And I hope you like these new features. People have really liked them.
Yeah,
ChatGPT is quite amazing talking about critical thinking. It really is.
I would like to see it, at work. So I think it was great.
Yeah, but so I have to make sure, I should just, on the demo for Harvard Business Publishing, you can see all that. I should just, we'll figure out a way for you. I can send you, I'll give to Desi some examples of ChatGPT giving feedback on writing and critical thinking. I can start there.
That sounds great. Thank you so
And remember, you choose everything as the instructor, and then you look at it, and you can choose to release it or not release it. People sometimes worry maybe the tone will be inappropriate. I've read the tone is amazing. It's so respectful, but it's our students. We want to check it first. You don't want to trust anyone, so you'll get to see everything. You might want to check out the tone before you release it. I think everybody will feel better, but it is quite respectful tone.
Thank you.
Lisa, do you mind please share us your presentation slide and also maybe your contact person? Yeah, so all lecturers who want to answer you to give you question, they can just drop email to you.
Absolutely. Desi, may I send that to you?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else you need or any questions anyone has?
Yeah,
I
I
know
think everybody just wait for the successful integration of this application into our
Right.
Canvas, and then we can just start using it in this semester.
Great. And listen, I'm happy to have another talk if you can stand it. But I think that Canvas integration is very
Yeah.
straightforward, but I'm also happy to answer more questions.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Desi, I'll send those to you right away. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank
Right.
you so much, Ibu Lisa, for your session and for sharing everything about the application to all of us. And thank you so much, Bapak Ibu, for joining the meeting. We hope that this application can be used, in this spring semester. And yeah, I think that's all from me. Then we
Great.
can end the meeting, yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh, I love that heart. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It
Yeah,
was
thank
lovely
you,
to see you.
everyone.
And I hope to be back in Jakarta and get to see you in person again.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a
Bye.
good day, Ibu. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.